Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Privrajak Acharya Ashtottara Shataśrī Śrīmad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai, Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Ki Jai, Gaura Premanande. Sarva Shastra Piyusha Sarva Vedaika Sattvala Sarva Siddhantaratnadya Sarva Lokaika Drikprada Sarva Bhagavata Prana Śrīmad-Bhāgavata Prabho Kalidvanto Ditaditya Shri Krishna Parivartita Paramananda Pataya Prima Varshyak Sharayate Sarvada Sarva Sevyaya Shri Krishnaya Namostume Mad Eka Bandho Mad Sangin Mad Guru Mad Mahādana Manishtaraka Mad Bhagya Mad Ananda Namostute Asadhu Sadhu Tadai Nati Necho Chatakara Hanamuncha Kadachin Mam Premna Hritkanta Yospura Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 8, entitled Questions by King Parīkṣit, Text 7. Yat adhātu-mataḥ brahman, yat adhātu-mato brahman, yat adhātu-mato brahman, deha, ārambhaḥ, asya, dhātubhiḥ, dehārambhosya dhātubhiḥ, dehārambhosya dhātubhiḥ, yadṛcchayā, hetunā, vā, yadṛcchayā hetunā vā, yadṛcchayā hetunā vā, bhavantaḥ, jānate, yathā, bhavanto jānate yathā, bhavanto jānate yathā, adhātu-mato brahman, dehārambhosya dhātubhiḥ, yadṛcchayā hetunā vā, bhavanto jānate yathā, adhātu-mato brahman, dehārambhosya dhātubhiḥ, yadṛcchayā hetunā vā, bhavanto jānate yathā. Adhātu-mato brahman, yadṛcchayā hetunā bhavanto jānate yathā dehārambho dhātubhiḥ yadṛcchayā hetunā bhavanto jānate. Ladies. Yadṛcchayā hetunā bhavanto jānate yathā adhātu-mato dehārambho dhātubhiḥ yadṛcchayā hetunā bhavanto jānate yathā. Yat, as it is, adhātu-mataḥ, without being materially constituted. Brahman, O learned brahmana. Deha, the material body. Ārambhaḥ, the beginning of. Asya, of the living being. Dhātubhiḥ, by matter. Yadṛcchayā, without cause, accidental. Hetunā, due to some cause. Va, either. Bhavantaḥ, your good self. Jānate, may know. As you may know it. Yathā, so you inform me. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. O learned Brahmana, the transcendental spirit is different from the material body. Does he acquire the body accidentally or by some cause? Will you kindly explain this, for it is known to you. Purport. Mahārāja Parīkṣit, being a typical devotee, is not only satisfied by confirming the importance of hearing the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam from the representative of Brahmājī by disciplic succession, but he is still more anxious to establish the philosophical basis of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is the science of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and all such questions that may arise in the mind of a serious student must be cleared by the statements of the authority. A person on the path of devotional service may inquire from his spiritual master all about the position of God and the living beings. From the Bhagavad-gītā as well as from the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it is known that qualitatively the Lord and the living beings are one. The living being in the conditioned state of material existence is subjected to many transmigrations by continuous changing of the material body. But what are the causes of the material embodiment of the part and parcel of the Lord? Mahārāja Parīkṣit inquires about this very important matter for the benefit of all classes of candidates on the path of self-realization and devotional service to the Lord. Indirectly, it is confirmed that the Supreme Being, the Lord, makes no such material changes of body. He is spiritually whole, with no difference between his body and his soul, unlike the conditioned soul. The liberated living beings who associate with the Lord in person are also exactly like the Lord. Only the conditioned souls awaiting liberation are subjected to change of bodies. How was the process first begun? In the process of devotional service, the first step is to take shelter of the spiritual master and then inquire from the spiritual master all about the process. The inquiry is essential for immunity to all kinds of offenses on the path of devotional service. Even when one is fixed in devotional service like Mahārāja Parīkṣit, he must still inquire from the realized spiritual master all about this. In other words, the spiritual master must also be well versed and learned so that he may be able to answer all his inquiries from the devotees. Thus, one who is not well versed in the authorized scriptures and not able to answer all such relevant inquiries should not pose as a spiritual master for the matter of material gain. It is illegal to become a spiritual master if one is unable to deliver the disciple. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Ladita Shri Vishwakanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrinda Vrineshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vikasa Swami Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. O learned Brahmana, the transcendental spirit is different from the material body. Does he acquire the body accidentally or by some cause? Will you kindly explain this, for this is known to you. So Parīkṣit Maharaj is asking a question, first in the series of questions. The chapter is rightly entitled Questions by King Parīkṣit. And it's not 2 or 3 questions, it's really many. To understand how we came here, we have to just backtrack a little bit. So Parīkṣit Maharaj is speaking. Again, we may say, in the 4th chapter, he asked Shukadeva Goswami about the Lord and his connection to the material world. And then Shukadeva Goswami said, oh, Brahma spoke about this to Narad Muni. So then he narrated this from 5th to the 7th chapter, he narrated exactly what they were speaking. And towards the end of the 7th chapter, then Brahmājī says to Narad Muni, now I told you this, expand upon this, so that the living entities may develop love of Godhead. So now, naturally, Parīkṣit Maharaj asked, so please tell me, what did Narad Muni say? How did he explain this science? To whom did he speak? That's the first verse, natural. And that may have stayed like that. So what did he say? But no, now Parīkṣit Maharaj is obviously very much already affected by the Bhagavatam. He is purified. He wants to hear even more. He will not just ask what Narad Muni say. He has his own questions as well. So what Narad Muni is speaking, that will be described later on in the Bhagavatam. Wherever Narad Muni is the speaker, that is what how he is expanding upon the knowledge that he gained from Brahma, his spiritual master and father. And Parīkṣit Maharaj, being so much, affected, so much appreciated the Bhagavatam that he heard so far, he started to praise the Bhagavatam, hearing of the Bhagavatam. Shukadeva Goswami, the glories of the Bhagavatam, the praise of the Bhagavatam is done within the Bhagavatam. It's not just once or twice, it's done throughout the Bhagavatam. It's expressing it's for us to inspire us, and also it expresses the ecstasy of the speakers and the hearers with what they hear, and they also what they experience within their own they see what is the effect of hearing the Bhagavatam. Shukadeva Goswami was this one beautiful verse in the 2nd chapter of the 2nd canto, when he started speaking. And he started speaking in the 1st chapter, but the things are getting developed. He says, Pivantiye Bhagavata Atmanasatam Katam Ritam Shravana Puteshu Sambritam Ponantite Vishavidurshitashayam Cha Vrajanti Tacharana Suroruhantikam. Simple philosophy. If we hear the Bhagavatam, actually hear means drink it through the ears, to the full. This nectar of Krishna Katha. So he enumerates two things. Ponantite Vishavidurshitashayam, that the impurities within the heart, actually it's the sense gratification, which is deemed to be the goal of life by materialists, that will be purified, means gone. And the hearer, Vrajanti Tacharana Saroruhantikam, will go near the lotus feet of the Lord, will attain the lotus feet of the Lord. And Parīkṣit Maharaj heard this, and now he has also the experience how this works. So then he glorifies in a similar way the Bhagavatam. Says that Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam nityam grinatascha svacheshtitam kalena nati dirgena Bhagavan vishate hridi, that hearing the Bhagavatam regularly, nityam, and then also grinatascha svacheshtitam means that one will not just hear, will also be speaking. He will also be glorifying. And that's natural. And that's what Brahma instructed Narad Muni. Now you heard, now you speak also. And in no time, Kalena Natidirgana Bhagavan Vishate Hridi, the Supreme Personality of Godhead will appear in the heart through the medium of the Krishna Katha. So, and then Pravishta Karnarandrena Swanam Bhava Saroritam Dunoti Shamalam Krishna Salilasya Tashara. Then Krishna, he will, when he comes to the heart, through the ears, he will purify the hearer. And the example is given just like the rain in the autumn purifies the bodies of water. That purification is the permanent solution. That's not something temporary. It's given, the example is given that the yogi, which is a Mishra yogi, he's using bhakti, but it's a yoga Mishra yogi. Bhakti Mishra yogi. He will use the bhakti, meditate upon the lotus feet of the Lord, and he will attain that. He will be purified. He'll be purified. But then, having attained the goal, he'll give up the lotus feet of the Lord. Whereas the devotee never does that. Devotee, even if somehow or other falls away for an instance, he still remains, doesn't give up the lotus feet of the Lord. You know, one can never forget how it is to be in this relationship with the Lord. This is it's called the rasa. It's untranslated. It cannot be really translated. Mellow, the feeling. Yeah. This is the Bhagavatam is about the rasa, how to experience rasa of love of Godhead. It's the speakers, they are expressing that through their own words. That's Bhagavatam is not simply knowledge, you know, just like in a textbook of whatever subject, but it's poetry, also poetry, and has this special attracts the minds of the hearers through this literary composition. It's not just said, you know. Anyway, I'm not a good poet or anything, but we can say anyway, maybe Krishna. Anyway, there's a ways how to speak very, very simply. Just state facts, or you explain it in a poetical way, and that Bhagavatam is composed like that. That's why all these comparisons, you know, salilasya yathā, you know, this is how the heart is getting purified. It's just like the water, the pool, the bodies of water with the rain in the autumn. And then, she says that the devotee doesn't give up, never leaves the lotus feet of the Lord. Dottatma Purusha Krishna Padamulam Namunchati Mukta Sarva Pariklesha Panta Swasharanam Yathā. The devotee, upon attaining the lotus feet of the Lord, feels like coming home. So many things happened before, so many difficulties, but coming home it's a relief. You don't want to go again if you don't have to. You have everything. Everything is there. So that's also a very nice expression how to say it. Like coming home. Like a traveler is satisfied after a troubled journey. So what we are experiencing in this material world is a troubled journey. And when the moment, or not just moments, the periods of time when we are at least somewhat Krishna conscious, that feels like, oh, it's a relief. So nice to be in Kirtan, so nice to hear Krishna Katha. So nice to be in the association of devotees, to serve devotees, take prasadam. Like a traveler is satisfied at home after a troubled journey. So, and now Prabhupada says, but the first sentence of the purport, this one. Maharaj, being a typical devotee, is not only satisfied by confirming the importance of hearing the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Okay. This sounds like, yeah, what is this? Why, what's wrong with glorifying the Bhagavatam? Prabhupada puts it a little bit in this kind of mode. That nothing is wrong with that. Of course, that's why the glorification is there in the Bhagavatam, to inspire us to hear the Bhagavatam. But the point is, if we only hear about how good it is to glorify the Bhagavatam, then we are inspired to do it. Glorification of the Bhagavatam is a part of the Bhagavatam, but it's not the only part. How, like you're saying, how good is to take prasadam, you get purified from all your vices and everything, and we just speak about it, and we never take the prasadam. That's how I understand Prabhupada here. He says, but the devotee is anxious to establish the philosophical basis of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So what is the Bhagavatam? Tell me. What is that will make me free from all material impurities? What will make me come home to the Lord? Why I will not want to give up the lotus feet of the Lord? So, in that vein, Parīkṣit Maharaj, Prabhupada says that also for the future generations, for everyone else, asks these questions, and establishes the philosophical basis of the Bhagavatam. So, he asked, yathā adhātu-mato brahman dehārambho dhātubhiḥ yadṛcchayā hetunā bhavanto jānate yathā. So, O learned brahmana, the transcendental spirit is different from the material body. Does he inquire the body accidentally or by some cause? Will you kindly explain this? For it is known to you. So, the spirit soul is adhātu, it has no material elements. Dhātu means material element in this sense. There's no dhātu. But with dehārambho, with the start of this body, the body is with elements, dhātubhiḥ. So how this happens? We are with no material elements, and then with the body, we get it. Is this just happens just like that? Yadṛcchayā? Prabhupada says, what, automatically or accidentally? Or there's some cause? And Parīkṣit Maharaj is sure that Shukadeva Goswami knows. Says, you bhavantaḥ jānate, yathā. Must be known to you, so please explain this to me. He knows because he is asking a bona fide representative of God. So, Yeah. Srila Prabhupada had a lecture on this, fortunately, had a lecture on this verse. It's a short lecture, as most of Srila Prabhupada's lectures are. But anyway, it's beautiful how Srila Prabhupada is going through the topics raised by Parīkṣit Maharaj here. It covers most of the purport of which he writes here. Obviously, it's the same author, but it's a little different also. First of all, he says that if one wants to receive knowledge, one has to ask a guru who is brahmanishta, who is fixed in the absolute truth. So that's that very, means many times quoted verse, tad vijnanartam sagurum eva vigachit. So to know the science of spiritual science, you should approach a guru with samitpani, with the, what do you say, some firewood and in your hands, which means do something useful, serve guru. And the guru is Shrotriya, he is learned in the Vedic literatures, and he is Brahmanishtam. He is fixed in transcendence. As Prabhupada says, he has no other business than spiritual life. And also, there's another verse quoted so many times with Prabhupada. In our parampara, tasmat gurum prapadita jigyasu shre utamam shabde pare chanishnatam brahmani upashamashrayam. So you surrender to Guru and inquire from him. And the qualification of that Guru is that shabde pare chanishnatam, that he is, again, saying learned, fixed in the shabde, in the Vedas, Vedic literatures, and pare in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has some experience. Brahmani upashamashrayam, he is fixed in the transcendence, and he is done with material contamination. So another tattvadarshi, Jnaninas tattvadarshinaha, such a person, from such a person, tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upatekshanti te jnanam. Jnaninas tattvadarshina. So he says that this is the injunction of Shastras. Such a person you approach, inquire, ask for shelter. And this is the way, this is the injunction of the Shastras, and Parīkṣit Maharaj is following that. He's saying that, so kindly explain this to me. So we are asking about the perfect knowledge, not just any kind of knowledge, because the absolute knowledge comes from Krishna, and Krishna is all perfect, just like Arjuna asked Shri Krishna, not just anyone, and he confirmed that Shri Krishna is the Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam, Bhavan. So he has the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not just anyone. And the question which is asked by Parīkṣit Maharaj, Prabhupada, is a very intelligent question, because why, if we are part and parcel of Krishna, why we have become to the material world? What's the reason for that? Is it like with no cause, or there's some cause to it? And there's nothing that happens that has no cause, except for this material world, right? Prabhupada points out this. So there's nothing without cause, but just this world and life in it is just happened, just like that. That's a constant showing of fingers of Srila Prabhupada. What about this? How this all happened? Yeah? There was a chunk and then exploded and then something developed and here we are speaking. We figured this out, that this happened. Prabhupada calls this is a rascal's philosophy. This really doesn't make much sense. Of course, but it makes sense and you can understand it if we came here to this world to forget about Krishna. So, and the origin of life and how this all came about points out towards Krishna. So we want to make some excuse. This is it's too painful. You know, we wanted to escape from God. There's some place safe from God, but then you start thinking, what is all this about? And then again, everything points to Krishna. It's horrible. So what? You make some theory. Yeah. Theory of evolution. Prabhupada says Darwin, he admitted, I speculated this. Of course, we know, but he also said it. I don't know exactly, because even in the time when he presented his theory, which is, anyway, now it's not, so I hear, this is not a current theory anymore. It's just a beginning stage. Now it evolved into something else, and there's many theories, but there's no God. That's the important thing. Somehow or other it came. It's not exactly like Darwin said, but he is like a spiritual master of, it's kind of a little bit rejected, but the main idea is good. There's no God. So he admitted that also in letters, because there are serious scientists who were studying what he wrote. They said, what about this? How this animal changed to that animal? This actually looks like a reverse change. It's not really evolution, and he didn't have any answers to that. He admitted, I don't know, I think like that, I'm not sure. But the thing is, this thing for which the author wasn't so sure, somehow or other he made it up. It has a tremendous influence in the human civilization, because now most of the people, they have no clue what is in the books. I have no clue also. I mean, we studied something years ago, forgot about it. But the main point which is to be learned is there's no God. That's the main thing. Yeah. And you may believe something if you like. Religion is something to believe. That's why it sounds funny, religion. I can make up a religion as well. And they do. Atheists, they do make religions. They make up something, the religion of I don't know, small dwarf or something, and but it doesn't have the appeal because it's just a joke. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are His eternal parts and parcels, and there's a whole philosophy behind it. There's how, from the Bhagavatam. Bhagavata is the, what do I say, Vidya Bhagavata Avadi. The limit of knowledge is in the Bhagavatam. There's nothing higher than the Bhagavatam, so everything is here. So this really, it's the whole philosophy, let's say like that. It's so it's congenial. How to say, it's firm, homogeneous. It's just there's so many connections between different parts. This is, how can some native somewhere here in India made this up? And now, and still, there's so many, actually more and more people who are interested and following that, and it seems they get something from it. So that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that that Krishna consciousness doesn't make sense. But the science, Prabhupada was very eager to dismantle the basis of the science, means this belief in mechanistic evolution, mechanistic point of the whole world. But we see that wherever our scientists did try, and still trying, to dismantle it, the science itself, the institutional science, doesn't budge. They just send you out of the institution. This is something for amateurs, for hobby scientists, religionists, but the real scientists, this is what it is. This is shown that with our Dhruta-karma Prabhu, Sadaputta Prabhu showed so much evidence of how the life didn't come about a few thousand, even it's that it didn't evolve, that millions of years ago there's evidence that there are bones and such things and other artifacts which belong to men, that they existed long before we're supposed to come into existence. But this is considered, it's not science. It's not science. This is, they show that whatever doesn't fit into the paradigm, evidence that doesn't fit in the paradigm is brushed aside. It's put in some closet or even burned. And if you take that seriously, you're not a scientist. No? Because they know what they're looking for. So this is science, and science is showing itself as this, we are just into the facts. No belief. We do experiments, then we make notes, and then we do theories, and then the experiments can be repeated, and again it will come to the same result. But Prabhupada says in the lecture also, he says, so they say it's evolution, chemical evolution, but we say, okay, we'll supply you all the chemicals, please do it, and then they will deny later in the future, but that future never comes. How is it called? Blank check? Post-dated check. Post-dated check, yeah. So it's, if you want to buy this, fine, but it's not fine. Actually, there's a big problem. It's a big problem that that we have to go through the drudgery of this material world for nothing, just to stay within the material life. That Prabhupada is asking this question so many times. Is there some cause or there's no cause? Actually, there must be a cause, right? And the living entity, what's the cause of our coming here? It's our own, it's the association with material nature. Yeah. Depending on with what mode of material nature we associate, that's the kind of body we get. And the varieties of there's so many planets, there's so many kinds of environments. It's just to facilitate our activities, then that we can fulfill our desires, which are indicated by our activities. So the cause, so nothing goes on automatically. Prabhupada quotes from the Gita, where in the 16th chapter, the demoniac qualities are described, and they say that there's no he says that Krishna says that the quality of a demonic people is that they say there's no cause to this material world. It's just karma. That's what it is. Now, Prabhupada says that if it's just karma, then why all the children that are born to parents are not the same? Because it's just karma. Karma is equal, kind of, yeah. But no, it's karmana deva netrena. It's because of the activities of a jantu who will appear in the womb, that he will appear in a certain way. Different. We're all different. Even the twins, they're different. You know, if it's not from the far, you can say, oh, they're the same. But no, if you get to know them, they'll be different, definitely. To the few minutes that there's a difference how the body comes in this material world, the soul comes, it makes a difference. It will be different. So we're all different. That's the reason for this. That's our purest activities. And under the guidance of Daiva Netra, the Supreme Superintendents. So there's nothing like, coming just, there's no, for everything there's a reason again. So, Prabhupada says that those who are saying that there's no cause, for that they get Nobel Prizes. Yeah. But somebody who knows that there's a cause, that he will do something about it. He will do something about it. And he says that if you, just like when you contract a disease, there's a certain pattern how this is done. So then you'll suffer from the disease. So you can become cautious not to become affected by the lower modes of nature. In the same way, just like one can be cautious not to become sick, one can also become cautious to avoid the cause of lower birth and suffering. So he says, Prabhupada says that's why we started this Hare Krishna society. So here you'll get the cause of being elevated. So, there's so many societies, and this particular society, Krishna Conscious Society, is meant for liberation. So the people are in ignorance, and they're accepting unhappiness for happiness. That is what it is. This is the consequence of accepting that nothing is, there's no cause for this world. So this is called Maya, and people are accepting, Prabhupada saying, Yanmaitunadi grihamedi sukam hitucham. The materialists are taking sense gratification and sex as the topmost in this material world, but they're suffering. There's distress in this, but everyone knows this. So the cause, of course, why a living entity wants to enjoy, it's anandamayo vyasat. We know that we are full of happiness. So, and if we have to do it somehow or other. In ignorance, we'll go for sense gratification. Yeah, it's normal. You want to do something about it. You cannot just be like a dull person doing nothing. But the original cause for our being here is that Krishna bahirmukha hoya bhogavancha kore nikatastha maya tare japati adore. That he wanted to enjoy separately from Krishna, forgetting Krishna, turning away, and Krishna and Maya is catching us firmly. That is the the cause of our coming here. We are the cause of our own misfortune, and because we are the cause, we can also be the cause of being elevated. Jivara Swarup Hoy Krishna Nityadas. So Prabhupada is saying that Maya is there with us in this material world to appreciate brightness. Darkness, Maya means darkness, right? To appreciate brightness, you have to have darkness as well. So there's an independence to decide where you are. If there's just brightness and there's no darkness, no Maya, then there's no choice. And our love is then forced. There's no choice. But and that's the beauty of love, devotional love. We could be in Maya, but we are not. We know better. So the Vedic literatures instruct us, tamasima jyotirgama, go to the light. Go to the light, do not stay in the darkness. So that's the consequence of getting knowledge of, is there any cause to our bondage, or there's just accidental, just like that? Because then we understand, when we get the answers, that no, there's a cause and I am the cause. So, and then we are the wrong place, then we want to go to the right place. To the light, and the light is given in the Bhagavatam, no? Krishne swadamo pagate, dharma jnana divisaha, kalo nashtadrisho esha, puranarko dunoditaha. So this Bhagavata is the light, is the sun actually, which will show us how to go back to Godhead, back to light. So, yeah. That's the kind of the gist of what Prabhupada said in the lecture. Yeah, are there any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for the nice class, Prabhuji. When I hearing this, Parīkṣit Maharaj must be definitely a great scholar. He might know, like, the gist of the scriptures.
Yeah.
Still he is asking like a basic question. It appears like a basic question. How can we understand this? Like Parīkṣit Maharaj asking a basic question.
Prabhupada is explaining this in the Purport. In the process of devotional service, the first step is to take shelter of the spiritual master and then inquire from the spiritual master all about the process. Okay? And then this inquiry is essential for immunity to all kinds of offenses on the path of devotional service. Even if one is fixed in devotional service, like Mahārāja Parīkṣit, so he was fixed, or you may say he was learned, he must still inquire from realized spiritual master all about this. So why ask again and again things we know? The tendency is that we know, but we forget. Just like, yeah, I heard I'm not the body so many times, but if I'm reminded that I'm not the body, it will help me to realize or to start working on that level, to functioning on that level, because we may know so many things, but it just doesn't stick to us. Didn't come to the heart. And also, why? For others. When I say Parīkṣit, it stuck to him already. He knew. And also he wanted to hear more and more. So you say, but but this is basic. Why do he wants to hear basic things? You may see Prabhupada, he was speaking about this again and again, and he was perfectly happy with it, very inspired to explain this. If you're explaining, you're also thinking about this. So it's not, and Prabhupada makes this a point many times, and that Krishna Katha is not just purely Krishna, what did Krishna do, how he played with Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj and his boys. It's not just that, it's just also the pastimes of Krishna in the material world. And this was actually up to here and still the subject of the second canto, at least from the fifth chapter onwards. It's explained also that that's, I think, the last verse of the previous chapter, that the Lord's activities in association with different energies should be described, appreciated, and heard in accordance with the teachings of the Supreme Lord. If this is done regularly with devotion and respect, one is sure to get out the material energy of the Lord, illusory energy of the Lord. So this is glorifying the descriptions of Maya in relation to the Lord. So Maya means material world, how it all came about, the energies. This inspire us. See, the hearing of this is sure to get out of, one is sure to get out of the illusory energy of the Lord. One will not get attracted to illusory energy. If you hear about it, how this is connected to the Lord, then we understand that this is an arrangement for the entrapment, engagement of the living entity. And that will give us the impetus to go out. Know your enemy. That is you can say, like a sutra for this. Yeah. Then we know where to turn our faces to. So it's always good this is kind of a vaccination, to be vaccinated against the allurement of the material energy. Because if you hear it in such a way, like what is it, what are the effects of material energy, then you will not desire to be allured by Maya, Maya Mukta Jiva. Then you will want to, run to the Lord. Until we are completely pure, it's good to hear. It's cute to hear about Maya and how it affects the material, the living entity. It's very, very auspicious.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you very much for your kind attention. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai.